Hey everybody, I am so excited. The number one request for Invisible People videos is an update on EJ. I get it constantly. It's the number one video on our channel, almost 14 million views. And drum roll please.
Hi. The drum roll.
I drove up to Big Bear today. Daniel and I have been going back and forth for a couple years.
Yeah, trying to get this set up, actually.
Yeah, you reached out to me a couple years and you wanted to do an update. Just, I wasn't close, didn't have time. But it's an honor to meet you for the second time.
Yeah. It's been a while. It's a lot's changed.
Yeah.
A lot different.
The first time we met was on Hollywood Blvd. You were homeless, 18.
18.
So you were going to go into the Army.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
No.
But tell me about
way.
the rest of your day. Your video, that night you had stayed at
Jeez.
Universal City. And then at Highland and Hollywood and Highland.
Most of those days were honestly just kind of a blur.
Yeah.
I think I've said, in our contacts, I actually remember most of the, I remember most of that day because of the night, because of where I slept and the Universal Studio. I just remember that way more than actually even the interview or the rest of that day, week, or month, to be honest. Like, it was all just like a one long, I don't want to, use the word crud show, but like, it was just it was hectic.
Homelessness sucks. And I don't remember that day. I mean, except for meeting you and watching that video. So I don't expect you to actually remember.
It was
it was 11:35. And I know the area of Hollywood. I'm just trying to, you were homeless in Hollywood, then what happened?
Wow. So I was homeless in Hollywood. I moved around quite a bit. There would be times when I would just get into situations where I wouldn't want to be where I was anymore. Like if I wanted just to leave Hollywood or anything, there would be times when I would just go to San Diego. I'd just dip out overnight and I would just go live in San Diego for a couple months and meet the crazy people that live there because they're definitely interesting people. And then I remember I went up to Santa Barbara. I went up to San Francisco. I barely remember San Francisco. Those were...
So you were a traveling partying youth.
Yeah, I couldn't quite get so far up after I met you. I couldn't quite get so far up north as far as like McKinleyville, like pretty much really north of Sonoma County of Santa Rosa. It was just, people are just way less likely to help you. I don't understand what that was about.
So how were you surviving?
Really, I had a sign that it's a sign that I pretty much carried through in different iterations through the whole time. It just said hungry. It was the single best sign you could ever have because I always had food because, if someone says they're hungry, you're going to give them food. And then if if they don't have food, they're going to give you money. And then you don't necessarily have to use that money on food because odds are somebody's giving you food already. So it wasn't like I was completely miserable. Like if I needed a new blanket, it would take me a day or two of panhandling and then I'd be able to get like a new blanket. But it also depended where. In Hollywood, people are sticklers. They only like you for so much time, and then they stop like giving you money, and then it's time to cycle on to the next person. So
and homelessness was different then. Homelessness is a lot more.
People are on Front Street now.
Yeah, there's more homelessness. People are more scared of homeless people. There's actually more. There's community action groups, which we featured. They're helping. I mean, there's both good and bad as homelessness grows. But it's not the same, and the world isn't the same, and especially for homeless youth, it's a big, scary world out there.
Yeah, it was definitely one day not knowing what you'd go to sleep and not know where you might end up the next night just because you don't know. Like, you never know. Maybe someone does some crazy meth trip and then they come over and they're just like, crazy on you and you have to leave because now you can't stay there anymore. You're not safe. Yeah. Like, it's just very chaotic and unpredictable to say the least.
Yeah. But you had a rough growing up. You were in and out of homes.
Yeah.
Hit the streets a bunch of times at a very young age.
It was interesting. I feel like it was a lot of people have other, like you have your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, these different people in your life that you have as role models. There would never be a time in my life for more than 6 months where someone would be by my side. Yeah. Like I never, like until I actually got off the streets, that was the first time I'd ever have anybody who was actually just like not giving up on me or like paid to move somewhere else or just left.
Yeah.
Period.
You feel alone. You feel, and I cannot stress how important having an ally, a friend. You know, people abuse drugs because they're escaping pain, and often kids, adults, all different demographics of people have lived through trauma, and then they use drugs to escape pain. Then there's the pain of homelessness, so you do more drugs, and then it all takes over. And then what we need to do is we need to be there for people to help them get their life back.
Yeah, you have to. They need security. They need to know that, like, if they make a mistake, they're not going to get thrown to the curb. They're not going to get like just forgotten about and given up on. Because you know, really, that's you can't learn anything. You can't, like, if I feel like. I mean, I don't want to like use this term, but it's like a state of perpetual like arrested development. Like you cannot grow any further than what you are on the streets because you have nobody to look up to. You have no, you don't know if you make a mistake, you don't know what you're going to lose or if you'll lose everything or whatever. Like
you're just surviving.
Know.
You're just surviving.
Mm-hmm. There's no thought process of long term.
So we're in Big Bear. This is a beautiful house. I mean, this is unbelievable. A little scary of a drive. I hate heights, and it's one of those.
It's just a hill, man. It's
I'm sure. Driving out, you know, I said, Daniel offered to
meet you down the hill.
Meet you down the hill, and I was like, I can drive up.
It's
and I was like,
hill.
it's like Highway 1. Highway 1.
It's fun.
Yeah.
If you're driving the right car, you're driving smart, and it's also the traffic.
Yeah. Well, it's a wonderful house.
Yeah.
You're helping somebody, your property manager.
Yep.
There's properties in Los Angeles. So
I manage an apartment complex in Los Angeles now. I kind of consider everybody in there to be more family just because, like, you know, they've been there for years, and I live there, and I talk to them. I'm very social, and this is also before, you know, this whole pandemic thing, but very social. Like, everybody loves it. Like, they're just like, I love helping them. It's fun.
Yeah. This is a beautiful house. Obviously, I bet you most houses look like this. You got, I mean, there's a bear on the wall, dead, of course.
He got into our trash can. Once you get into your trash, they're feral. You can't really like. You can't save them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Poor guy, but he makes a good wall ornament.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
It's a beautiful house. I assume most houses have this decor here.
Gary is a very exotic individual. That's the name of the man who actually got me off the streets.
That's where I'm going.
And helped me.
Yeah. So. Tell us how you got out of homelessness and ended up here in Big Bear and property manager.
So this was about 3 and a half years after our interview. I was in North Hollywood in the San Fernando Valley, and I was also I was in the San Fernando Valley, and I was just kind of looking for like just kind of a purpose. I had gone through a bunch of things in life where I just kind of realized that I need to settle down. I need to figure something out because this is not going anywhere. Right. Yeah, it's just like a circle you're running. And I was panhandling on the side of Woodman off ramp, and it was the sign that said "hungry." By the way, this is why I stand by my standard of that is the golden sign to use if you are homeless. Don't write paragraphs. Don't write long, exotic explanations of what happened. Just be like, you're hungry. I need food. People will give you food. They'll give you help. And most of the time, they'll be a little more willing to talk to you because you're asking for food. It's, you know, anyway. So this man drove up in a Subaru, and he offered me a bag of quarters. And then he went home down the road and then drove back. And then he pulled over to the side of the road, and here I was like, okay, well, unless I've kind of met old guys before, this is probably going to be one of those.
Some creepy old guy.
Yeah, and and he talked to me. He's like, all right, so what's your deal? Do you actually want to get off the streets? Like, do you want to get your shit together and make something of yourself? And I was like, oh my God, like, yes, like, yes, like, give me that shit. And so he took me in. First thing I did was I got my driver's license. I was way more clean and sober back then. I mean, I still smoke pot, obviously.
Everybody in California smokes pot. Everybody in anywhere smokes pot anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of just a thing. I don't even smoke cigarettes. I don't know. It's one of the things that helped me through homelessness. But anyway, so I just was able to get my stuff together. I was able to wrap it around. I was able to get a job as that apartment manager, and I was able to, start living up here in Big Bear and start, like, just taking care of stuff. And I also manage a monastery property, like.
So you have a little apartment, like a little one-room studio that's up the stairs. That he lets you live here, and it's and then you're working.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's fair trade for me. That's a fair trade.
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful place. You got a place to live. You got purpose.
Yeah, I think that's really what it was, Mark. It was the purpose. I feel like now. It's like, I don't know, it seems so cliche and cheesy to hear it in all these superhero movies and all these crap, but like, I really feel like it's just like, it's only like, I'm supposed to be spreading hope with this. Like, you can go through dark shit, and you can still be you can still get out of it. You can still be happy if you keep your happiness, you gotta stay happy. Otherwise,
positive things happen to positive people. And that's not easy. That's not easy.
You got to be vicious about it. You got to be really aggressive. Like, there's been times when I find myself almost confused because I'm angry because I'm trying so hard to be happy, but something's happening or whatever. And it's like, I've trained myself through all this time to just, you are happy. You're going to be happy. Yeah. There's things around you that you can be happy about, even if no one else is doing it for you. Like, you're good.
Well, and you guys have heard me say on this channel, if you're feeling something, pain, you've got to feel that too. Just don't stay there. I mean, if you bury toxic waste, it doesn't go away. The reason that you have pain when you cut your fingers, you need a Band-Aid. So if there's pain, you have to feel that. You have to walk through it. And you said, marijuana helped you a lot when you're on the streets, go through the trauma of homelessness. I'm not advocating for marijuana use, but, if there's something that helps you get through going to the bathroom behind a dumpster every day, you know what I mean?
Done that more than a couple of times.
Right.
I luckily never got to dumpster diving. Yeah, I feel like at that point there's a certain
I hate it.
You're really deep into shit then.
Yeah. For me, it was pushing a buggy. The first time that I pushed the shopping cart was when I had to realize that I was homeless. I totally was in denial. I'm not homeless. Yeah. And then one day I got rolled up from this place and I had to take stuff to a storage unit, and the only way was a shopping cart, and I'm pushing it. I'm going, I'm homeless.
That's it, man.
I had to accept it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So I have to clarify something. We all need help. And you guys, how we end homelessness is educate yourself, get politically active, and support local nonprofits that are working to end homelessness. How Daniel EJ is his street name, his street persona.
Yes, EJ is Daniel. Daniel is It was EJ.
Yeah.
I am both. Yes.
Yeah, it's
people. So many people ask me. Yeah. They're like, "Are you really him?" Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're really him.
Yes. Yes.
And what happened with you is a miracle. I mean, it's rare that it happens.
It's so rare. I don't know anyone else who's. I mean, I've known a couple people who've come out of homelessness. Yeah, but to come out as blessed as this.
Right.
Not even close.
And to be picked up by somebody that wasn't creepy, that was offering you your own little apartment and a job.
Yeah. And just
that is rare.
Life and just a chance to experience life. That goes back to that security. I was able to experience life. I was actually able to make a mistake. I was able to, get in an accident. I was able to do things like I went to Europe. I never would have went to Europe if I was homeless.
Yeah, and
that's,
you had
that's
somebody
mind-blowing.
You had somebody to be a role model and watch your back.
Exactly. Who made sure that I was kept on going. Yeah.
You said you wanted to give some wisdom to people. And I don't know if you were talking to homeless people or just anybody,
but it's like both.
Now's your opportunity.
I feel, I know it's really blunt, and I know it's really kind of just, it's straight to the bone, and it's no sugarcoating it. It sucks. Life sucks. Like, there's things that happen that you want to get depressed about, or upset about, mad about. There's so many fucking feelings that you can have about certain situations and all this stuff, and you can, like you said, you can bottle them up, you can do all this toxic waste and shit. But I really feel like the number one, thing that you have to do, and it's gonna suck to hear it, but is you just gotta get through it. Life must go on.
Yeah.
It has to. Otherwise, there's no point in fighting to get things to go better, because what is the point?
Yeah.
Life must go on. Must. It just has to.
One of my favorite quotes from Winston Churchill is, "If you feel like you're in hell, keep going."
Keep going, yeah.
Because
get out of it.
There's valleys and there's mountains, and there's valleys and mountains, and there's good times and there's bad times, and
I think that even applies to actually being when I was homeless too. There were times when I genuinely had fun.
Yeah.
It sucked. It sucked sleeping on the sidewalk, but at the end of the day, you're alive. You're going to sleep. You have a blanket. Might not be on the cold concrete. I've done that, but there's good times. Camping, there's all sorts of
well, you
real
were
life
young.
Experience. Yeah.
For me, I can't remember what there was not one time that I remember, and maybe it's just that part of my life. I was wasted, and maybe I'm just trying to block the whole thing out. I'm sure there was a point or two where I smiled.
Yeah, where it's just you find the beauty in life because it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
You just gotta go, and you have to be aggressively happy and go find it, because otherwise you're in control of your own happiness. You know what I mean? I think that's what it all boils down. You are the one who has to choose to get over the shitty cards that life has dealt you. You have to be the one to choose, hey, I'm done with drugs. I'm done. It's fucking me up, and I'm good. I don't want it anymore. I'm good. You have to be the one to choose, all right, I'm not gonna let this bring me down, even though shit is hitting the fan. I'm good. I'm gonna be happy. You have to be the one that aggressively keeps yourself going.
So what do you think about your video almost reaching 14 million people?
It's mind staggering. I never knew it would go that far. I never knew why me?
Well, obviously you are blessed in many ways.
Why me?
Obviously the people that watch YouTube love you.
I guess I try to be really humble about it, so I don't really even know what to say.
Yeah.
If I'm a role model, that's cool.
Yeah.
I can do it. I can shoulder that for people. That's fine. But it's at the end of the day, it's not my. Geez, that was gonna sound terrible. It's not my problem. People have to make themselves happy. They have to do it themselves. I've helped quite a few people who have actually reached out to me hey, I'm going through hard times. I'm thinking about leaving home. My parents don't understand me or whatever. And what should I do? You know what I tell them? Get over it. Don't do it. Just stay put, because it'll get better, and there's no reason to chop yourself down before you even know.
There was periods in my youth at home. I took off for a couple of times and came back, and as I look back, I'm grateful that I didn't take off and leave. So
not permanently.
Yeah.
I understand. Maybe a night or two. Kids be kids.
And then,
but
some kids are getting abused at very young age, and they take off.
And maybe that's what it takes to get some sort of intervention on it. Is they're all of a sudden reported missing, and then that's.
So what's next for you?
Well, I'm working on my Twitch stream. I'm trying to get that going, just so I just like playing video games, and then there's people from YouTube who come all the time and just ask me for support, and I'm just I'm here for you.
Cool.
There's one person in the world who's always rooting for you, no matter what. everyone else can go to hell. If
Good.
at the very least, I will be
Yeah.
rooting. I don't know.
So we're getting a little long here, and
Yeah.
YouTubers like it to be around
Sure.
17 minutes, and I think we're at 21. There's 14 million people out there that know your name and your face. What do you say to them? Say goodbye. Or say see you next time, or
Yeah, man. See you next time. We're not going.
Yeah.
I'm not going. You'll hear from me.
Yeah.
It's just stay happy and just love each other, because
Yeah.
you know, like, I don't know. It's all the cheesy stuff that you hear at the end of a movie. It's,
we'll have to
it's all true.
we'll have to do another update in 5 years.
Okay.
You know,
Let's see if I own half the lake by then.
there you go. That's
that'll be my
that's a
goal.
good dream. So, thank you very much for inviting me up. Thank you
Yeah,
for
for
reaching out
sure.
years ago.
Yeah, thanks.
And it was about 4 years ago. You must have reached out right when you came up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just weren't able to make it happen.
didn't click, yeah.
Thank all of you for supporting Invisible People's important work, that we're able to do videos like this where homeless youth is featured on Hollywood Boulevard in 2013, and here we're doing an update, and there you go. The update that you guys all wanted the most. EJ.
Take it easy, YouTube.